Yes, dear students, let us continue the class. See, in yesterday's class, we learnt about the electrostatic potential at a point due to a single charge and also electrostatic potential at a point due to many charges together. Okay, so today we have to discuss one more very important concept which can be asked under 5 marks, and it is regarding the electrostatic potential due to a dipole. Okay, so we have to consider, or we have to calculate the equation for potential at point P due to the dipole. Let us consider a dipole which is having two equal and opposite charges separated by a distance of 2a. Now, at a distance of r from the center of the dipole, there is a point P. And at this point P, we have to calculate the potential due to the two charges. One is positive charge and another one is negative charge. Let R1 and R2 be the distances between the point P and plus Q charge, point P and minus Q charge respectively. So R1 is the distance between P and Q, and R2 is the distance between P and minus Q. Okay. So with all these considerations, see, first we focus on potential at point P due to plus Q charge. So potential at P due to plus Q is given by V1 is equal to Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R1. So that is according to the previous derivation what we made. See, here is the derivation, the last result of the derivation, that is potential at a point due to a charge, that is V is equal to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught R. So using the same equation, we took V1. Similarly, potential at point P due to another charge, that is minus Q, it is given by V2 is equal to minus Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R2. Okay. Now, what is the net potential at point P? So, net potential at point P is, as you know, it is the sum of the individual potentials. Because in the previous discussion, here we came to know that the net potential due to many charges is the sum of individual potentials at that point. Hence, we took V is equal to V1 plus V2. Okay. Now, substitute for V1. V1 is Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R1. V2 is minus Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R2. Here, the common is Q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught. Hence, we get 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2 in the bracket. Just you call it as equation 1. The work is not yet over. Why the work is not yet over? Because the electrostatic potentials, if you consider the distances, then those distances are making some angle with the dipole axis. Okay. So therefore, we have to focus on that angle also. That angle also plays a very important role. So if theta is the angle which is there here, then the remaining part of this is 180 minus theta. Now, we need to consider these angles also. Therefore, first we consider the triangle which is there, the triangle which is having the angle theta. So let that triangle be, see, let it be AOP. Okay. So if I consider the triangle AOP, then the R1 R1 square, according to the geometry of the triangle, R1 square is given by one simple equation, that is R square plus A square minus 2AR into cos theta. So A is the distance between A and O, as you know already. A is the distance between A and O. R is the distance between P and O. Hence, in the calculation of R1, these R and A, they play an important role. Right. Now, take this R square common. See, from this step, R square is taken as common. When R square is taken common, in its place 1 will appear, and here in the second term, R square will come in the denominator. And in the third term also, R square will come in the denominator. Right. So therefore, here 1R will be cancelled from the third term. Correct. 1R is cancelled and the remaining terms are written as it is. When we compare the distance between A and R, see, A is very, very small and R is much bigger than A. Therefore, if you take the ratio, that is A square by R square, then that ratio also will be very small, because we have a very small number in the numerator and a big number in the denominator. As you know, when you divide, then the result what we get, it will be very, very negligible. It will be 0.000 something. Okay. So therefore, this A square by R square is neglected in the previous equation. Once A square by R square is neglected, then we get R square is equal to R1 square is equal to R square into 1 minus 2A divided by R cos theta. Okay, we get one step. Now you remove this square. When you remove the square, square root will come on the entire RHS. Okay, square root will come on the entire RHS. Now, see, square root of R square is nothing but square root cancel and only R remains here. And the square root will be there for remaining terms. They are nothing but 1 minus 2A by R into cos theta. But we know that square of anything can be written as half power. If you take the power half there, that is 1 minus 2A by R cos theta whole raised to 1 by 2, then it is nothing but square root only. So don't get any confusion here. If you write this square root or if you take the power as half, both are same. Right. Now, in our previous equation 1, see what we have? We have 1 divided by R1, isn't it? But now we got the equation for R1. Hence, to get 1 divided by R1 there, we take the reciprocal of this. Reciprocal of the previous step. So when the reciprocal is taken, it is 1 by R1 is equal to, see, R becomes 1 by R because reciprocal, and this reciprocal of this entire term, so that will be minus 1 by 2, because we know the laws of exponents. What is the laws of exponents? See, if we have anything A is equal to, and if we want to take its reciprocal is 1 by A, isn't it? So 1 by A can be written as A raised to minus 1. Therefore, the power will become minus or negative, isn't it? Hence, we get one equation and you call this equation as equation number 2. Okay. So dear students, do you have any doubt or any question up to this stage? It is a very important derivation under 5 marks. Remember. Okay. So first you explain completely about the diagram. Then you have to start the electrostatic potential at P due to plus Q charge. Okay. We took one equation, then electrostatic potential at P due to minus Q charge. we took another equation, then the net electrostatic potential is taken and we get the one equation, simplified equation, that is 1, isn't it? Now as these two distances, actually we call them as the direction vectors. Okay, they are called as the direction vectors. Actually they can be represented as vectors. We can represent them as vectors, right? So they are making some angle here, but particularly if I consider r, from which is taken from the center of the dipole, it makes an angle theta. Hence we have to consider the angle theta for the triangle AOP, right? And we have taken r1 square according to the geometry of the triangle AOP, right? So after making many changes, right, finally we get an equation, that is equation number 2. So up to this, do you have any doubt or any question up to this? Yes. Now let us continue. See, there is one more triangle, that is BOP, and which is making an angle. See here, R is making an angle of 180 minus theta here, right? So if we consider this angle 180 minus theta for cos theta, then it will be, see, it will be minus cos theta, and hence we get plus sign here. Okay, so therefore the equation r2 square can be written as, again in the same way, r square plus a square plus 2ar into cos theta. I think why this plus came, right? Artha aitu anta ankondini, because of the angle there, 180 minus theta. Now if we apply all the procedures, whatever the procedures we have adopted here from this point onwards, okay, r1 square is equal to, by taking r square common, then neglecting a square by r square, right? So all these steps are, if they are repeated here, then we get the equation number 3. So what will be that equation? That equation is 1 by r square is equal to 1 by r into 1 plus 2a by r cos theta whole raised to minus 1 by 2. Okay, by adopting similar steps here. Do you have any doubt regarding the equation 3? Otherwise we have to write, if you don't write this similarly, then you have to write all these steps once again. Again it will be lengthy. Basically this theorem is lengthy, so again it will increase. So therefore what we have done, we have written similarly and we took the equation directly, right? Now what we do, as we got 1 by r1 and 1 by r2 here, we are substituting 2 and 3 in equation 1. Earlier the equation what we got for potential, so here in place of 1 by r1 and 1 by r2, we substitute those equations. So when we substitute, observe the big change which appears here. See, q divided by 4 pi epsilon naught is same, we are not making any change there. So instead of 1 by r1, we took equation from 2 RHS, then from equation 3 we took 1 by r2, we made the substitution, right? A big equation is obtained. Now here we have to apply the binomial theorem, what we have learnt in the PUC first year. Have you learnt about the binomial theorem under algebra? Have you learnt about binomial theorem under algebra?
Yes, sir.
See, for example, the binomial theorem, the general form of the binomial theorem. Yes, how it is? A naught x raised to 1 plus a1 x raised to 2. Yes. a naught x raised to n, then a1 x raised to n minus 1 plus a2 x raised to n minus 2 plus a3 x raised to n minus 3. Like that it continues up to last term, that is an x raised to 0. Correct. So according to the binomial theorem, the general form of the binomial theorem is given in this way, isn't it? So we apply the binomial theorem here, binomial theorem for first order. First order means we are taking only the first step. Only the first step. We are not taking, so n raised to 1, we are not taking the entire binomial expression there. Is it clear? So we are taking only the first order binomial theorem. When we take the first order binomial theorem, we find that this minus 1 by 2 which was there in the top, in the power, so that will be multiplied with the coefficient of cos theta. So it will be multiplied with cos theta. Okay, that is the major change what we have, right? And that 1 divided by r what we were having, so that 1 divided by r, that will come out and it becomes a common term. Okay, 1 by r will come out and it becomes a common term. Okay, that's why only 1 is left here. In the second term also the same thing, whatever that minus 1 by 2 was there, that minus 1 by 2 is taken as the product with the coefficient of cos theta. Yes, so that is the major change what we find, and that is done using the binomial theorem and retaining the whole expression for first order. Right, now the work is very simple. Okay, now it is very simple. What you have to do, simply you multiply the sign there, minus into minus plus, right? Here again plus into minus minus, just you multiply the sign. Then this 2 cancels there, only a by r will be left. Here also 2 cancels and only a by r will be left. Okay, now open these brackets, the brackets what we have, the inner brackets what we have. When we open these brackets, it is 1 plus a by r cos theta. Then multiply minus with both terms, minus into minus plus minus, so minus 1, minus into minus plus, so a by r cos theta. Okay, so we opened the brackets and multiplied the sign wherever it is necessary. Okay, now then see plus 1 and minus 1 cancelled. Once plus 1 and minus 1 are cancelled, only 2 terms are left which are same. So a by r cos theta, a by r cos theta. Hence we add them, so that will be 2a by r cos theta or 2a cos theta by r. Both are same. Yes. So any doubt or any questions up to this? See, once we get r1 by r1 and 1 by r2, we have to substitute 2 and 3 in equation 1. So this system is not so difficult, because simply we are writing there. We are not making any change. The major change is what? In the next step. Okay, so 1 by r is taken as common, and second major step is converting or retaining only the first order binomial theorem or first order of the equation. Hence this minus 1 by 2 will come here. It will be multiplied with cos theta. And in the second term also minus 1 by 2 is multiplied. Whatever the power is there, that power will be multiplied. Okay. Now 2 cancelled there and sign are multiplied. Yes, brackets are opened. Then plus 1 and minus 1 are cancelled. 2 same terms are obtained. Those 2 same terms are added together. Okay. So then we get this particular step. Any problem, any doubt in understanding these steps? Then see, just you multiply the numerators, 2aq. So 2a into q. We know that 2a into q is nothing but it is the dipole moment. Already we know this. Okay. So dipole moment is equal to 2a into q. So it is represented by small p. Hence, instead of this 2a into q, right? Instead of 2a into q, just observe the next step there. So we can substitute p. In that place, we can substitute p. Hence, it becomes p cos theta divided by 4 pi epsilon naught into r square. Why r square? Because one more r is there, and the r what we taken as common, and the other denominator they are multiplied. Hence, we get r square. Any problem? Yes. So here, this is the final equation for the electrostatic potential at a point P due to a dipole. That is the final equation. If you have any doubts or any questions regarding that, you can ask. If you write up to this, you will get 5 marks. Or it may be under 1 plus 4. 1 plus 4 logu kuda kelbodu. Any problem? Yes. See, when we look at this equation, let us make the analysis of this, right? We find that V is directly proportional to P, that is dipole moment. In turn, it is proportional to 2A into Q. Okay? It means if the quantity of charge is more, then the potential at point P will be more. Yes. And it also depends upon cos of the angle there, cos theta. Yes, V depends upon the cos theta. And V is inversely proportional to square of the distance. Yesterday I told you, like this you have to make the analysis of the equations, what you get. Then only you can able to solve the NEET or CET exam questions or problems. Is it clear? So the equation is important under numerical examples or under CET and NEET. Now, the same equation can be written in the vector form, in the vectorial form, by taking the unit vector of the direction vector. Yes. So if you take the unit vector, then the V becomes vector. It will be in a particular direction. Okay, na? So this is all about the discussion regarding the electric potential at a point due to a dipole. Yes, if you have anything to ask or okay. So after this, see, after the discussion of electrostatic potential due to a dipole, we have one more concept, that is what happens when the angle becomes 0 degree and what happens when the angle becomes 180 degree. Okay. So in both cases, see, when the angle becomes 0 degree, what is the meaning of this? See, there is one dipole. There is one dipole, yes, with plus q and minus q charges, right? So the angle is measured like angle between P and this center, isn't it? So this is the angle. Now, if this point is shifted just on the axis of the dipole, if P is shifted here, then what will be the angle here? The angle between the line joining the P with center and the dipole axis. So it becomes 0, isn't it? It becomes 0. Therefore, whenever angle becomes 0, we know that cos 0 is 1, and hence the potential will be maximum. So V is equal to P divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R square. Now in the same way, if the angle becomes 180 degree by moving the point P on the other side of the dipole, then theta will be 180 degree. And we know that cos of 180 degree is -1, and hence it will be V is equal to minus P divided by 4 pi epsilon naught R square. So altogether it will be plus or minus, okay, a positive potential or a negative potential, right? So if exactly if the angle is 90 degree, if theta is equal to 90 degree, that is if you consider P on the equatorial line, then we know that cos of 90 is 0, and the entire potential will be 0 here. At any point on the equatorial line, the potential will be 0. Very important for CET NEET. Okay. CET NEET. Conceptual question. But it is due to dipole, remember, due to dipole. Okay. See, a potential on the equatorial line due to a dipole is always 0. Now, after this discussion, we have one more concept that is called as the equipotential surface. What do you mean by equipotential surface? Very simple. Suppose one surface is there. On that, if we calculate the potential at different points, very simple, okay, at different points, say up to Vn, right? And in all points, if the potential is the same, if V1 is equal to V2 is equal to V3, V4 up to is equal to Vn, then such potentials, such a surface is called as the equipotential surface. Very simple, right? If the potential at different points on a surface are equal, then the such surface is called as the equipotential surface. The best example for an equipotential surface is the surface of the sphere. Okay, surface of the sphere. Suppose charge is placed at Q, and if we want to know what is the potential at different points on its surface, say at A, B, C, D, E, F, like that, if you consider different points on the surface, as the radius is same, right, as the radius is same and as the magnitude of the charge is also same, hence the potential will be equal on the surface of a sphere, and hence surface of the sphere is considered as the equipotential surface, right? So this can be considered for 1 marks under CET NEET or under the theory concept. Okay, so with this discussion, I stop today's class. If you have any doubts, any questions, you can WhatsApp me, you can send the questions or doubts to me. Okay, then I will continue the class on Monday. See you.